Hey, it's Doug Coy for SoWhatDoYouThink.com. Well, I'm back in Vancouver, British Columbia. I've just been spending some time in New York. Man, it was hot and muggy, saw some wild thunderstorms. And I'm glad to be back in Vancouver. It's absolutely gorgeous today. And the Olympics are on. Okay, so what am I going to talk about? It's time to get back to some kind of nitty-gritty type of things. I got a whole lot of stuff that I'm thinking about. And, having been on vacation for a couple of weeks, I got some things kind of stored up. One of them is Barack Obama. Evidently, he must be in trouble. Why do I say that? Because he's resorted to begging. The President of the United States of America is a beggar. Now, not only is it Barack Obama, but it's Michelle and it's his Vice President, Joe Biden. And just a few minutes ago, I received a note, evidently to myself, from the President. Isn't that sweet? Michelle wrote me also, and it was the classic, "If you do not support Barack, the country is in trouble" letter. She uses statements like, "I know I don't want to wake up on November 7th wondering if I could have done more. We've only got a few more hours before the deadline hits us." Now, to be honest with you, some of these emails are very similar to the ones that I've received in the past from various faith ministries. I don't know how I get onto their mailing list, but some of them are quite funny. Now, the key to a good fundraising letter is to have a crisis. You know, you got to have a crisis. And so you state the problem. In the case here, we are being outspent by Mitt Romney. And if we don't get the money in, we will lose the election, and we could lose some key states because we will not have the money to counteract the ads that Joe Biden is putting out. So we must have that money or we're going under. Now, I've seen the same thing, as I said, with faith letters. If you don't support our ministry, if you don't send in your $20 this month or $10 this month, terrible things are going to happen. We are in a crisis. We have to pay the bills for the television ministry that we have, and my kids, are starving. Whatever it is, you create a crisis, and that's one of the keys. And then you got to create guilt. If you don't do your part, you have it within you to do it, but if you don't, you're going to let the President of the United States down. How do you feel? How do you feel about that? I mean, you could have lost the whole election because you didn't send in your $3 to Barack Obama when he asked you for it, and he stated the cause. And if you don't do something, the country is going to suffer. So that's how you do a fundraising letter. To be honest with you, it bothers me. Now, the truth is that Barack Obama, Michelle, and Joe Biden, they don't really send out those letters. That's done by a marketing firm, a fundraising firm that's paid a whole lot of money to psychologically manipulate emails in such a way that they produce guilt, and they actually will then produce funds. But it's got to look personal. Now, does anybody really believe? Do you really believe that you're getting a personal note from Barack Obama? I don't think so. But it's kind of like professional wrestling. We know it's fake, but we kind of like to believe it's real. So I know it's fake. I know that these guys aren't sending me a letter. But it's kind of nice. I look at my email and there's Michelle Obama. Hey, Michelle Obama wrote me a letter, an email. Can you believe it? No, I can't believe it, but I'd like to. So, Mr. President, I really feel bad that you've had to resort to this psychological manipulation. Perhaps you could persuade some college students who have some spare time to go out front of Starbucks. I mean, there's thousands of Starbucks stores all across the United States. And they could have maybe a cardboard cutout of you and your family and the dog, And they could have a little caption that says something like, "We do not need another provider out of work. Please support Barack Obama." Have kind of a sad look on the president's face, and kids could be looking out, like, please. And if you get enough college students to do that, you could raise a few $1,000,000. I bet you could. Maybe you could get some buskers to go out there and do some things. So my final thought is, why don't we just cap this whole thing? I mean, everybody gets a certain amount of money, and that's what you have to spend. Mitt Romney, you have a certain amount of money. Barack Obama, you get a certain amount of money. That's what you get to spend. And then perhaps we not have to see the most important man in the United States of America reduced to a beggar, so we can mount a good campaign for the presidency of the United States. It must be very humiliating, Mr. Obama. Very humiliating. Anyway, that's my thoughts. What are yours? This is Doug Coy. So, what do you think?